Let's see.
Widespread theory that Greg is a sociopath, so I decided to continue this extreme effort post of a series by telling you why this theory might just check out. Now, a sociopath is defined as someone who lacks a sense of moral responsibility or social conscience. Oftentimes lacks a sense of moral responsibility or social conscience.
So does whatever the hell he wants and doesn't abide by the rules of like, if you bump into someone, they're supposed to say sorry to you, or something like that. Maybe.
Oftentimes hurting others with little to no remorse at all. And there are plenty examples of these things happening throughout.
Cause there's always a thing when I go with like when I see a video on narcissism or sociopath. There's always minor tendencies or small areas where you can notice it on a lot of people. Because like when you read this type of things, I understand that it's a sensitive topic and I'm not gonna point fingers, but a lot of people have the tendency to, you know, uh, be in this space and just have an ego where whatever they do, you need to apologize to them for. Like if they do something wrong, you need to apologize to them, and they become like it's not obvious, but like I know that I'm not one because I'm the type of person where like I understand when like this a lot of schools, a lot of students have these minor tendencies like they think that they're the shit. They like let's say I was like grade 7 bullied guy. Like right now I'm jacked, so I'm not gonna get that much bullied. I'm in university though, so there's no point. But in like like grade 4 to 7, like I was bullied in that point. They have this tendency for because they want to act a cool way, they'll sort of imagine a cool person will not abide by their rules. But those rules are not like, oh, this, that, that. Those rules, let me do this. Those rules are more, let's say, rules not like, oh, the school made you rules. School rules like, oh, if you bump into someone, just say sorry. Or if you seeing someone walking and they open the door for you, say thank you. Like those type of things. You shouldn't expect something from someone like a stranger. Like me, I when I used to sit down, like let's say in PE, and I had my bag behind me, there would be people that would just step on my bag and not say anything about it. Like they would literally have like a shoe imprint on my bag, but like they wouldn't say anything about it because they're not aware of that situation. That oh maybe you should apologize because whenever I did it like by accident, I used to apologize like I'm so sorry. Boom, you're done. But people won't do that, and like when I go to the bullying stage, like bullying just basically happens because they feel undermined and they know that they have a sort of power on you because I didn't talk much, and that's why they sort of you know it happens. I don't really care, and I beat them in a fight, so that was the fun part. But the point being is that they will do actions that go against a moral, and that morality they have starts to go away because they factor that in with being cool and being the person dominant, and I think that's what you sort of explain. But I'm giving my story of a sociopath because there's minor tendencies in a lot of people, and that's what I like. All these types of things. There's a small percentage of let's say a lack of social acknowledgement. Good word. So that's why like people don't really realize what can happen if like because I'm not sure there's an opposite word for a sociopath because like I think that's an empath then, right? Like people who cares about someone else's morals and is socially aware. Like if let's say I bump into a person shoulder to shoulder, I'm gonna apologize there and then, even if it's their fault. Like if they're running towards me, Maybe I was like, bro, chill out. I'm sorry for bumping into you, but now you're helping. But let's say a lot of other things like kicking the bag was one. Bumping into someone was one. Um, and when you sort of have that personality, it builds like because it's in a lot of like bullying situations. That's why I'm giving an example of bullies. Because then once you're at the stage, you then treat that as if you treat everyone like that, then you're the shit. Right? Let me turn this down. Then you're the shit, and because of that, you sort of reach a personality point where hold on, you reach a personality point where you're gonna start doing it to your elders. Like they would like disrespect teachers, and that's how students get in trouble because they care about their own situation and not their social awareness. That's why just I'm yapping, but this is my intake. Like I'm interested in these types of things because it's a neurological thing, and I love brain stuff. Not like that, but still, yeah. I just woke up from a dream. Not like that, but still, yeah. Okay. Alright, let's just continue on with the video. I yap too much.
Out the series. In the fifth installment of the series, Greg fills his plate with deviled eggs at a neighbor's birthday party, but because
Also, last time, uh, D- Diary of the Wimpy Kid. I was seeing, and I didn't realize they still do a Diary of the Wimpy Kids. I'm sure it's like, oh, I've never gone to their website. Like, where I've reached till 12 Getaway easily because I was a big Diary of a Wimpy Kid fan. Like I used to like to collect all of them. And when you used to get the hardcover, I think I talked about it last stream a long time ago, or like that. Like they've still kept going. Like they had another like four, eight, no, four, seven. My math. Another seven other books like Meltdown. Like I wonder what all this is about. But still, I read a bit of this because I saw it in a library. But still, yeah. Let me just continue.
he didn't like them, he dumps the entire thing into a plastic plant when no one is looking. I mean, I don't know, I feel like the garbage can is the better option, but maybe that concept is too hard for him to understand. Anyways, eventually a few weeks later, those eggs started to rot, and they just couldn't figure out where that horrible smell was coming from. So they hired a professional carpet cleaner, but when that didn't work, they thought it was a dead mouse in the walls, so they tore those down too. And when they just couldn't figure it out, they said, yeah, okay, let's dip. And so they moved out. The worst part is Greg just watched as all of this was happening. I mean, he really could have said something before they had to rip their walls open, or even move out. And what's even worse is that he just watched them as they took the plastic plants filled with eggs with them. Honestly, my real question is how they didn't realize that the smell was coming from the plant though. I mean, the guy was literally holding it. Honey, this plant smells like sh.
When it comes to Diary of the Wimpy Kids, it's sort of like obviously shown that most of the characters are done, and I also feel like it's sort of inspired by things like Family Guy, because I don't think Diary of the Wimpy Kid was back there in the 90s. So like Simpson came out back then, or like very high, or early 2000s. So like when people, oh, it's a weird way to say it, but I think the characters are like really dumbed down, and then because and then everyone is treated at that same level, like the Greg's mom, dad, the other dude's mom, dad, uh, Roderick, and they're all shown at the same dumb level. like they're each their own unique personality, but they're so uh but their level of smartness is the same, where Greg is then shown in such different ways that, like, when people make videos like this, they're shown like a persona of him in a, like, they're all normal people, normal living people, but dumbed down. He, on the other hand, wants control, and that's what pushes him away. Like, the cheese touch was one big thing. So, like, yeah. And when people, he used to force people to touch the cheese and all that stuff. Yeah, let me just continue with it. I'm yapping.
Yeah, they tend to do that sometimes. As long as the outcome benefits Greg, then it really doesn't matter what happens to anyone else. Here's another example. Greg wants to be the treasure of his school just to antagonize jocks. And instead of campaigning for himself like literally everyone else, he resorts to slandering his opponent instead, drawing pictures of him mishandling the school's money and warns everyone about how he had lice in 2nd grade, which somehow makes him unfit to be a treasure. I don't know. As long as the outcome benefits Greg, he doesn't care who has to take the fall for him. This again is perfectly displayed when Greg is performing for his school play. Manny stands up and shouts Bubby, and without hesitation makes it seem like Manny was talking to him instead of Greg. Which, honestly, that's some quick thinking, as it led to that kid getting bullied a few days later instead of Greg. And, instead of feeling even a little bit of remorse, all he can think about is that he's relieved that he isn't the one getting picked on. Not only that, but during the play, instead of following the lines, he goes completely quiet and ruins the entire play by throwing apples at the star. Which, she kinda deserved it. And while everyone a part of the play and the audience went home visibly upset, only one man went home with a grin on his face. Now, another common trait found in sociopaths is narcissism, which is often displayed by a lack of care for others and how they use kindness as a tool for manipulation. Which is interesting because we pretty much never see Greg do anything intentionally kind for anyone. The only time we ever see him do anything remotely kind is for his extended family, inviting them all over to his birthday party, shoveling snow for them, and even invites his grandmother over for dinner. Okay, wait, that's kind of a lot of things. Maybe I was wrong. Well, I probably would have been if it wasn't for the fact that all these acts are shams. He doesn't do these things out of the good of his heart. He doesn't invite his extended family to his party because he loves them. He does it to maximize the amount of gifts he gets. But it's also because he really only has one other friend. And a party with just one other person is basically a date. Anyways, hey, he shovels snow for them.
Nice video why Greg Heffley is actually gay.
What about that? But it's only so that he could get better Christmas gifts. And he only invites his grandmother over for dinner because his dad won't get mad at him when his mother is over. Which is actually kinda smart. Greg, I swear, if I see you dancing at the strip club one more time...
Let your son get his bag, you fucking limp dick!
And now, everything I've mentioned...
What the hell was that, bro? That was crazy. I'm not even going back. That just came out of nowhere.
Is pretty bad. But what's arguably even worse than all of this is the way he treats his best friend, Raleigh. Greg essentially views Raleigh as being an entirely lower status than himself, forcing Raleigh to carry him up hills and thinking of him as no more than a pet. No, seriously, he wrote a script where he and Holly Hills are married and Raleigh plays as his dog. That's just not normal. This is something I can imagine happening at a furry convention or something.
What is actually going on?
Greg basically just abuses Raleigh for his own enjoyment. Now, most people are familiar with Greg's fun game of throwing a ball at Raleigh as he zooms down a hill, leading to Relly's arm breaking. Greg hardly showing even a glimmer of remorse, and instead attempts to capitalize on Relly's newfound popularity gifted to him from his broken arm. Here, Relly is staying the night at Greg's house, and Greg notices how Relly kicks the pillow every time he gets downstairs. And like the really cool prankster he is, he puts a dumbbell under the pillow. Just a dumbbell, right there. So that he can watch as
You know, I was gonna say something like, this is no controversial hit or no opinion of mine. I'm just saying it, and I don't like mean it. When authors have gone through like so many books that have been successful, they go through I've seen this with a lot of books, like nerd here, like Diary of the Wimpy Kid, right? They've they hmm, how do I say this? They sort of go in this pathway of, oh, you know what? Oh, wait, let me do this one. Bec- there should have been full screen. They go in a pathway of, oh, my first book was successful because I went my all in it. My third book was successful because I almost went my 100% on it. They sort of have this creator's block. Like, I guarantee you, like, I understand, what's it called? Jeff Kinney, great author. Like, it attracts the kids. I mean, whoa, whoa, I do not mean that. The, the book is good for this book. The book, like, it attracted when I was a kid. It attracted me. Oh my god, like it's eye candy because the book aren't necessarily like the names of it is not important. It's the color scheme or like the entry thing, like how like these pictures each has a different like the ugly truth, and it's an egg, but like it creates curiosity in a child's brain because it's such a simple image, but it's all just there. Oh, I'm here. It's all just there. And it looks better every time. Like it started off very basic. Diary of a Vampire, just him, his brother, him naked, him on a beach. Then different types of objects started to pop in. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like here, the stories get sort of out of pocket, and like it's not unique anymore. If you get what I mean, like I mean it's the same with everything. Like the Harry Potter movies, they can't make more because I love Harry Potter. But like when they reach like the Deadly Hollows, I think after that there shouldn't have been more. And same with like Fast and the Furious, because every time their goal is to elevate, and elevation sort of leads to a change which like it's not needed. Like I do not need a flying car. Maybe jumping off with the parachute is cool, but like a Fantastic Four flying car and Fast and the Furious is not like a cool addition. It's just a different way of just making the movie a next level, but that next level is sort of, again, next level is sort of like this book. You can probably see my mouse here. This book, the title itself, I don't know where I'm yapping, but I am because I need to keep myself awake. I'm also lagging behind because I need to. I'm sort of stalling for the spicy, what's it called? The, the chili powder. So I shall have to do that. So yeah. But yeah, it sort of loses the uniqueness. I'm getting deep because it's 3 a.m. and I'm supposed to get deep and I want to talk about life. I shouldn't stop. I might go overboard. I'm going to stop talking about life.
as Rally just full power kicks the weight, screw stubbing one toe. Rally just smashed all his toes at once, and Greg just standing there smiling. Greg just using Rally. I mean, this is literally how he sees him. Bro, what is this, and why is Greg drawing this? Now here, Greg and Rally are working as safety patrols and get all these benefits, but when Greg gets called out for harassing kids, he's accidentally mistaken for Rally. Now, Greg wasn't actually sure what to do in this situation, but when Greg asked his mom what he should do in this situation, Susan told Greg to simply do the right thing, which in Greg's mind means to let Riley take the fall for this one, making Riley apologize to these random kids and then loses his job as safety patrol. And after all this, Greg has the audacity to tell him that this was a learning experience for both of us. I don't know how Riley hasn't just, Greg, you are
Like, if I'm Riley, yeah. My chest feels really sore. I did chest also.
a terrible friend, and I hate you. Also, another very common trait of sociopathy is that they struggle to understand other people's emotions and can't decipher between right and wrong. He made Riley really upset, but just can't see that. He goes home and happily tells his mother that he did the right thing, and then goes and gets ice cream with her. He honestly thinks that he's doing the right thing. It should be fairly obvious to most of us that Greg is in the wrong here. But that's just the thing. Greg isn't normal. Before I end this video, one thing that's interesting to note is the fact that Greg never smiles. His face is pretty much the same throughout the entire series. But notice how the few times he actually smiles throughout the book is when he's somehow hurting others, seemingly getting joy from this. And this isn't a coincidence either. In pretty much all of these situations I use as an example, he was smiling. And other than times like these, he pretty much never does. Just something to think about.
Damn, W with 100k likes deserved.
Alright, I get it.
This video is for another day. I'ma save it. But we're not watching that.